Israel has been breaching the ceasefire in Gaza every single day, and it has been killing people every single day all across the Gaza Strip. Recently, they killed a man who was looking for wood to set up fire and cook something with it. Now the rain season, the winter is coming, and people are going to be cold. People will probably die from the cold. There's hardly any wood in Gaza anyway because of all of this destruction. And Israel is still making it difficult for people to get basic things by literally shooting them whenever they try and get something. They're continuing the demolitions in the areas where they're still present at under any excuse that they want, really. But again, the media isn't saying anything about these day-to-day killings of this entity of terror against the civilian population inside of the Gaza Strip, who aren't posing any threat to Israel. We're in something called the ceasefire, which I prefer to call a slow-mo genocide rather than anything else, because Israel is continuing the genocide at a lower heat. And why are we not hearing about the people being killed on a day-to-day in Gaza? Are their lives worth less than other people, for example? Is that why we're not hearing about them? And it's, of course, not only in Gaza, but the West Bank too. Israel continues to attack the West Bank, and now they killed an elderly woman and a boy in attacks in Ramallah and Jenin. Have you heard about that as well? Did someone hear anything? Every single day, that's the reality of the Palestinian people ever since that occupation came to Palestine. Continuing with their killing, murder, execution, kidnapping, every single day. And people are saying that, well, Donald Trump is saying that the chances of continuing the ceasefire are good. It's not going to collapse, and I hope it remains the same. You see that second sentence that he reportedly said, you know, he hopes that it's going to continue with the same way, is relying on Israeli goodwill, almost relying on Israel's goodwill to continue down with the ceasefire. They are breaching every single day, and they're killing people every single day. And not only that, recent stats in relation to the aid in Gaza are shocking now. We're talking about 28% only. 28% of aid trucks have entered since the ceasefire. 28 of the total supposed number that's supposed to get in. By the way, Israel always claimed, likewise with the tyrannical United States administration, that Hamas steals the aid. As a matter of fact, the United States, they published, well, the administration, of course, they published a video the other day of Hamas looting, supposedly looting aid, propaganda, without any elaboration, without anything. It was the same militias that Israel arms and supports in Gaza, likewise with the GHF at the time, who stole and continue to try and steal the aid trucks that go into Gaza. The people preventing the aid trucks from going into Gaza is, number one, the Israeli authorities, as in Israel as a country. Secondly, the depraved people who stand in the middle of the streets, sometimes with their children in buggies, by the way, in front of aid trucks trying to go into Gaza and prevent the aid from going in, saying that, no, we're not going to allow anything. That's what's happening. But this, however, is you're talking about an Israeli policy. This is a state policy, because they want to control exactly how much calories go into Gaza. They used to have these calculations ever since 2005, 2006. And now they're trying to prolong and delay all of this aid going in under, again, every single pretext, every single excuse that you want. Now, of course, that suffering is continuing on the humanitarian side. However, the ongoing battle between the Palestinian resistance and the Israeli terror forces continues, and it continues with full force. And as a matter of fact, the Palestinian resistance is doing things that are really getting to Israel. The Palestinian resistance recently published this video over here. Well, this is an image of this video of them having a blanket and covering up that blanket and then wrapping it in a white sheet. Why are they publishing this image and this video? It's because, well, you know, we saw several videos of the Palestinian resistance fighters doing what? Well, digging, right? They were digging to supposedly look for the buried Israeli terrorists in Gaza, the buried Israeli IDF terrorists who were taken as prisoners of war and Israel killed in Gaza. And people are looking, I mean, okay, they're there, right? And what's happening? Well, you know, everything is exposed. Then Israel started to look through drones, publishing drone images, drone footage. Oh no, they're lying to us and that's not the real thing. But then you actually saw bodies going to the Red Cross. But what Israel didn't know is, well, compared to that operation of handing prisoners of war back, there was a whole other operation of deception. Like when the Palestinian resistance in 2011 released the then prisoner of war Gilad Shalit and had approximately 150 white Toyota trucks going out from multiple parts of Gaza with similar people wearing similar things to confuse Israel and not let Israel know exactly where they came out from. They're doing that even with the bodies of the Israeli prisoners of war. Why? Because some of them were buried in important tunnels for the resistance. Now, they have multiple uses for tunnels, and they move them from one place to another at the end of the day. However, clearly much of what we saw in the media about these events was part of the deception. And the real bodies were in so many different places, scattered all across of the Gaza Strip, to confuse Israel. Why? Because the Israelis later started to attack the place, right? They broke and breached the ceasefire. Then they started attacking. And according to them, Israel confirmed that we attacked the same tunnel that Hamas kept this person in, and we attacked the same tunnel that they were in. They didn't attack anything. You attacked a dummy tunnel. You attacked a front. You didn't attack the network. You didn't attack what they didn't want you to attack. And the Israelis were bragging about it. Like, oh, yeah, they took him out of this place. Cool. Let's say the Palestinian resistance or Hamas did something bad to use it as an excuse to go and conduct multiple attacks in Gaza, and we will destroy the whole thing. And of course, they have their own interrogations. They had their own interrogations with the living prisoners of war who were released. Where did you go? Wow, they take you? What happened? What did they? Although most of them were, they didn't really know exactly where they're going. Some of them saw elements, but they couldn't tell where that location was. All that we know from the Israeli prisoners of war who spoke about anything to do with the tunnels is that they are vast, as in they are beyond the imagination of people, layers and networks, and from one place to another. After this publication, Israel took a step back. They started to view the release of their dead prisoners of war, although we're almost reaching an end now, in a different lens. Oh, hold on a second. They are actually fooling us. How can we really know where they were? And well, the whole thing might be a show at the end of the day, up until that body pops out from somewhere, because it's about who got that body there at that time. And they can be disguised as anything. But from an Israeli perspective, they didn't know, but it bothered them very much, to a level where, of course, they sought revenge by, again, killing innocent civilians in Gaza. Now they're talking about intense negotiations between the American side and the Israeli side about the shape of the forces and the identity of the forces that are going to be participating in Gaza, but the Israelis are still refusing certain countries to participate in this task force. The American administration believes that this is a challenge that can be sorted. They can convince Israel eventually, especially when we're talking about Turkish forces in Gaza, something that Israel has been constantly saying is a red line. And the reason for that is, well, there are organizations belonging to Turkey that Israel used to consider terror supporting organizations like the IHH, and also heavy machinery from Turkey inside of the Gaza Strip. And that also proves that Israel can be pushed to a corner where they will accept Turkish forces alongside other countries too, as part of the international stabilization force. And the talks are supposedly advanced at this stage. This is what we're hearing. But there's still a long way to go. And that long way includes not only the countries that are going to be involved, but also the role that the ISF will be playing and how long will they have to remain in Gaza after they enter.